November 12, 1944, when the transport ship carrying Japanese female POWs docked at an American port in late 1944. The women were gripped by fear, fatigue, and uncertainty. Years of wartime propaganda had depicted Americans as ruthless, indifferent, and cruel toward prisoners. They were expecting overcrowded barracks, limited food, harsh treatment, and constant surveillance. What met them instead was a scene so orderly and humane that many could barely comprehend it. The women were escorted from the docks into a reception hall. Officers greeted them politely, their faces calm and composed. The space was well lit and clean, far from the dark, cramped conditions the POS had imagined. Their eyes swept over rows of bunks, neatly stacked crates of food, and sanitation stations. Each step reinforced the shocking contrast between their expectations and reality. Some of the women hesitated, unsure whether to trust what they were seeing, while others were too stunned to speak. Medical examinations were conducted with precision and care. Nurses and doctors moved efficiently, checking vitals, treating minor injuries, and addressing immediate concerns. The POS noticed advanced equipment, sterilized tools, functioning X-ray machines, and neatly organized supply cabinets. Yuki Sakamoto, a nurse in the Japanese Army, marveled at the sterile procedures, noting that hospitals in the Pacific Theater often lacked even basic hygiene. Here, wounded soldiers were treated respectfully, with compassion and dignity, making the POWs realize that the American military combined discipline with care in a way she had never imagined. Following the examinations, the POS were guided to their assigned barracks. Each building was spacious, well-ventilated, and equipped with comfortable beds, fresh linens, and storage space. Sanitation facilities were functional and clean, a stark contrast to the overcrowded, unsanitary areas they had been led to expect. The POS were given meals in a large mess hall, where they encountered an abundance of food. Fresh bread, meat, vegetables, and even fruit were served in quantities that felt almost luxurious to women accustomed to meat rations and scarcity. The taste, variety, and portion sizes left many of them speechless. In the following days, the POS were introduced to camp routines and supervised activities. They observed American guards treating prisoners with respect, providing guidance and ensuring safety without intimidation. Corporal James Thompson, an officer in charge of the women's unit, made a lasting impression. Calm, patient, and approachable. He answered questions, offered assistance, and sometimes allowed POs to participate in tasks like meal preparation, laundry, and record keeping. For women who had feared cruelty, such gestures of trust and responsibility were almost overwhelming. Beyond daily routines, the POS were given exposure to American technology and infrastructure. Workshops, mechanized kitchens, and laundry facilities were operational and efficient, demonstrating a level of industrial sophistication unfamiliar to them. Medical wards displayed organized systems for patient intake, treatment, and recovery. Recreational facilities offered spaces for movies, music, and physical activity, allowing POs to experience leisure in a controlled and safe environment. Every aspect of camp life emphasized order, care, and advanced planning, shattering the POS preconceived notions. The psychological impact was profound. Initial fear and suspicion gradually gave way to cautious curiosity. The POS began to see the Americans not as a faceless enemy, but as human beings, capable of kindness, organization, and advanced thought. Observing daily routines, interactions, and facilities expanded their understanding of what a modern society could accomplish. Even during wartime, small, smiling guards, organized medical care, abundant meals combined to create a transformative experience. By the end of the first month, the POS had started adapting to camp life. They had learned basic English phrases, participated in supervised work, and even engaged in recreational activities. Their initial shock had evolved into amazement, and many wrote letters home describing their experiences. They began to understand that the Americans were technologically advanced, socially disciplined, and remarkably humane. For women who had faced starvation, fear, and uncertainty, this was nothing short of revolutionary. In their second month in the American POW camp, the Japanese women began to grasp the full extent of the technological and social advancements of the United States. Daily routines now included practical training in camp operations, exposure to medical and industrial systems, and supervised cultural education. The women assisted in hospitals, learned hygiene practices, and participated in maintaining sanitation standards, giving them hands-on experience with equipment they had only seen in theory. Umi Tanaka, a former military nurse, was particularly struck by the sophistication of medical care. Advanced surgical techniques, sterilized instruments, and organized patient records contrasted sharply with the chaotic, makeshift field hospitals she had endured in the Pacific. Under supervision, she assisted doctors in minor procedures, observing firsthand the systematic approach to treatment and recovery. These experiences not only educated the POWs, but also reshaped their perception of American competence and humanity. Education continued to play a key role. POWs attended lessons in English, hygiene, American history, and basic scientific principles. This exposure helped them communicate more effectively and understand the systems around them. Recreational activities, movies, sports, music allowed the women to relax and interact with other prisoners and guards. Initially hesitant, they gradually embraced these opportunities, experiencing joy and normalcy for the first time in years. The POs were also taken on supervised tours of American industrial facilities and nearby towns. Factories, mechanized workshops, and electrical grids demonstrated the scale of American industrial capacity. Public buildings, schools, and transportation systems reflected efficiency, safety, and advanced planning. The women were overwhelmed by the sheer scale and effectiveness of what they observed, often comparing it to the severely damaged infrastructure of wartime. Japan and Japanese-occupied territories. Interactions with guards deepened the POS understanding. Guards were patient, respectful, and approachable, often explaining daily routines, offering guidance, and engaging in casual conversation. Corporal James Thompson continued to be a central figure, demonstrating that American discipline could coexist with kindness. These interactions, paired with exposure to technology and welfare systems, fundamentally changed the post-conception of the enemy. Medical care remained a focal point of their learning. POS assisted in sterilization, administered basic care under supervision, and observed advanced treatments for injuries. They were struck not only by the techniques, but also by the humane way patients were treated. Unlike the rigid, sometimes harsh discipline of the Japanese military, the American system emphasized efficiency alongside compassion, providing lessons in both professional skill and ethics. By late November, the POs had become more comfortable and confident in camp life. They participated actively in daily routines, assisted with practical tasks, and engaged fully in recreational and educational programs. The fear and suspicion that had defined their first days were replaced by curiosity, admiration, and a desire to learn. They began writing letters home, describing the unexpected humanity, efficiency, and technological sophistication of the United States. Their initial shock had transformed into respect and wonder. The impact of this experience would endure long after the war ended. The Japanese women carried back a first-hand understanding of the American capacity for organization, technological innovation, and humane treatment of prisoners. For many, it was a revelation that challenged decades of propaganda and reshaped their worldview. They had arrived expecting cruelty and deprivation, but found structure, abundance, and dignity, leaving an indelible mark on their lives.